April from April's Home, and today I'm here with another makeup declutter. Today I am working on my eyeshadow palettes. As you can see, I have a pretty good sized collection here of eyeshadow palettes. I've got just a bunch of different brands and different types and things like that to go through. Here they are all laid out across my table. I'm going to go ahead and stack these up into groups so that we can approach these by groups, just like I did with my other two declutters. I recently decluttered my nail polish collection as well as my lip products collection, which I will go ahead and link both of those videos below. So I'm going to go ahead and get these organized into categories, and I'll be right back to start this declutter. So I have all of my eyeshadow palettes kind of separated into groups here, and I thought I would start with this first group. This will be very easy because I intend on keeping all of these palettes. These are my Tarte palettes, and as you know if you watch my channel, I absolutely love my Tarte palettes. The formula is just really nice for me. I love the color selection and all that. So definitely want to keep all of my Tarte palettes. This is my newest palette here, the Tarte Dream Big palette, which I just recently reviewed, along with the Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3 palette. And these are Rainforest of the Sea Volume 1 and 2. These three palettes here are some of my favorite, and I especially love this one right here. I use it all the time. This is the Rainforest of the Sea Volume 1. And these colors I use a lot. You can see dents in the majority of these colors. Not so much that one. I don't use a lot of really dark colors. This is my favorite one right here, called Wave. And you can see that it's just so pretty. I just love it. I use it all the time. This palette is a limited edition, so I think at some point I will buy another one to have as a backup, just because I grab for this palette all the time. It's definitely my favorite. Then this is the Swamp Queen Graveyard Girl Tarte palette, which I also thought was so neat. I haven't used it very much, so I'm kind of happy to be decluttering a lot of these palettes so that I can make a little bit more room for some of these palettes that I've had for a while but haven't used very much. This is the inside of the Swamp Queen palette. Lots of really pretty colors, similar to just my other Tarte colors there, except for the fact that there's some nice purples in there. So definitely some colors that I would love to use. I have used this middle color here quite a bit, but I do want to try this palette out a little bit more often. This is the new Make Believe in Yourself palette. I just love this. It is so pretty. Lots of very pretty glittery colors that you can see here. This is definitely so fun. I just love it. I definitely want to try using this one a little bit more frequently as well. I've used some of these upper colors. I would love to experiment more with some of these colors. Then some of my older Tarte palettes, some of the first Tarte palettes that I purchased. This is the Showstopper Clay palette. I used to use this quite a bit more. I love some of these colors here, but ever since I've had the Rainforest of the Sea palettes, I've been grabbing for those quite a bit more. I do like to try to use these two older palettes from time to time though. I really do love them. This is the Rainforest After Dark palette from Tarte, and I just love the package design. I think that is so fun and unique. I love the wood grain look here. I just think it's so neat. This is another one of those palettes that I just love, all these colors here. This is a really unique sort of plummy color. The blush color is also really nice in this, and so is the highlighter color. These palettes are really great. You can just get a whole look off of these palettes. I just think they're so fun. So those are my Tarte palettes, some of my basic Tarte palettes that I just love. Definitely will be keeping those. And then I have a couple here that I'm going to keep, but I don't really love them. I am mostly keeping these around this year to see if I can get a little bit more use out of them, perhaps pack them for traveling, things like that. These were the two Tarte holiday packages that I bought this year. The formula in the holiday packages I've noticed is not as good as the formula in their actual little palettes here. I just love this formula, but it seems like the Christmas palettes, which I've noticed with a lot of other brands, are just perhaps made a little cheaper, and they're just not my favorite. I do think it's neat that they come in this little special container. I'm not in love with the pattern, but it is kind of vibrant and fun. I do love the turquoise color. I think it's neat that it has this big mirror here and that you can open it up to quite a few colors. I do pull this out from time to time, but I haven't used it that much at all because I'm just always reaching for my smaller Tarte palettes. Again, this is something that I would love to give a little bit more of a try to, see if I use it up during the year, but also to remind myself, even though I'll be tempted, because I'm always tempted by beautiful packaging, to not buy any of the big, larger Christmas sets. It'll have to be pretty special for me to buy the Christmas sets this year, since I just haven't used the ones from last Christmas very much. This one also came with this really cute little palette here with some highlighter, blush, and a really dark bronzer, which I'll never use that bronzer, but the highlight and blush are really pretty. It also came with a Tarte lip paint here, which I'll go ahead and put in with my lip glosses, and a mascara and an eyeliner. So it's kind of a nice little set. Definitely fun that it has this little drawer. It would be good for traveling, so I do want to try to use that a little bit more. And this is the second Tarte Christmas one from last year. Same sort of story with the other one. Not as great of a formula, but still really fun to use. I do love getting this out. There are some really pretty colors. I love this turquoise color here. There's a lot of neutrals. It is really pretty. Again, I just don't pull out these super large palettes very often, so I really need to remind myself to not buy them this year. It does come with some blushes and highlighters and bronzers, as well as more Tarte lip paint that I will put in with my lip color, more mascara that I need to use up, and another eyeliner pencil. So those are all my Tarte items, and I will be keeping those. I don't think with the eyeshadow palettes that I will make as drastic of a declutter as I will with some of my other declutters, but I do love Tarte, so I definitely want to keep those palettes. I won't be getting rid of any palettes that I think that I'll actually use, just because it seems silly to get rid of things that you just will actually use. So moving along, we'll check out some of my BH Cosmetics palettes here. This is the BH Cosmetics Enhancing Eyes. It was supposed to be a special palette specific for brown eyes, and I do love the packaging. It is so pretty. I just do not reach for this very frequently. I did really enjoy using it at first. It is fun. It's got a lot of colors. I don't reach for purples too frequently. So this one I think I will be passing on for now, just because I have so many other palettes that I do use. There's nothing wrong with this one. I do like it, but I have so many different eyeshadow palettes right now that I really want to make sure to use the ones that I really love and I'm reaching for regularly so that they don't go bad, and then pass these along to someone else before they get too old to pass along. So these that I'm passing along are hardly used, and I have a lot of female relatives, and so I will definitely let them all go through that and see which ones they would like. So I will be passing this one along, although I will admit I just love that packaging. It is so hard to give up the beautiful packaging. I'm just drawn to that. I love the design there. And then this is the newest palette that I got from BH Cosmetics. This was a freebie. This palette came along as a bonus when I purchased this palette back here that I just recently reviewed. This is the Nude Rose palette. I haven't used this at all since it is just so brand new, and I do have so many of these other colors that I think I'm going to just pass this one along before I use it so someone else can have a nice new palette. The rest of these BH Cosmetic palettes I do really love. This is their Wild and Alluring palette. These are their baked eyeshadows. I don't use this palette very often, but when I do, I just love it. The colors are so pretty. I love how they look all swirled and just so beautiful. I just love them. So you can see just the color that these have. I just love them. They're so fun. I'm so glad to be decluttering these because, again, this is one of those palettes that just kind of gets down towards the bottom and I don't remember to use it, but I really love it. So this is definitely a keeper. And of course my Galaxy Chic and Supernova palettes from BH Cosmetics. Oh, some of my favorite palettes. I just love these. The colors are stunning. These are more of the baked eyeshadows, and this is what the Galaxy Chic looks like. You can see they all look like planets, and again, the colors are just so beautiful. I just love them. Look at this orange here. This is Mars. Oh, so pretty. I just love these. Definitely some of my favorites. I usually save these for special occasions when I want a little pop of color. I just think they're great. They're also coming out with a new one of these palettes, and I will be reviewing that in an upcoming video. So that's the Galaxy Chic palette, as well as the Supernova palette, another sort of take on the Galaxy Chic, another 18 baked eyeshadows. And these are also all related to outer space and the different constellations and things like that. More absolutely beautiful, beautiful colors. Wow, look at that. It's just, you don't even think that that kind of color is going to come out of that, but it's just amazing. I love these. Super pretty. So definitely these are keepers. I would highly recommend both of these palettes too. They're just so fun. And then these little marble palettes here, I love these as well. They're so pretty. This one is the cooler colors. I don't use the cooler colors as much, but I just wanted to have it on hand. I thought it was nice. And this is the other marble palette. I also love this and use this from time to time as well. Sadly, I did drop this. This, of course, when I dropped it, my favorite color popped out, so I had to buy a backup. I'm trying to use this one up a little bit more anyway before I open up my new palette, but both of these are definitely keepers. I love all of these colors. Let's see if I can swatch this one for you. It's hard to get the color out there, but it's really pretty. It's almost like a holographic-y color. Here's the orange. The orange is like a beautiful, nice, soft apricot-y color. I love it. So that's also a keeper. This one has been in my favorites list before. This is the BH Cosmetics Bronze Paradise palette. I also love this one. I use it quite a bit. I love this pretty turquoise color. I mostly stick with these colors and these here. I just love them. BH Cosmetics is really a great place to check out palettes. Even the ones I'm decluttering, I do love. I have so many palettes that it would be better to pass them on to someone who can use them up a little quicker than I can. But definitely BH Cosmetics, great place to check out different palettes. And this is the Club Tropicana 28 Foil eyeshadow palette that I got for the summer. I was again drawn in by packaging like I often am. It's just so beautiful, and you can check out the review of this I just recently posted with all of the swatches. So those ones I'm keeping as well. Let's do this little stack here. This is some of the random ones here. This is the MAC Kabuki Magic. These are the Dazzle shadows, 4 of their Dazzle shadows. This is what they look like. They're a lot like the Moon Dust colors from Urban Decay. Very, very pretty. This one is very duochromy. I love that. I have very few MAC eyeshadows, so I'll be keeping those. This is the NYX Cosmic Metals palette. I recently got this. This isn't too old. This is another one I enjoy using and have only used a few times just because it's so new, but I really do love them. They're also extremely beautiful, foily, nicely pigmented metallics, some of my favorite colors. So that's also a keeper. And here's 2 palettes. These are by Maybelline, the Rock Nudes and the Nudes. These palettes I've had in my drawer for a while. I got this one when it first came out, so it's a few years old for sure. And then the Rock Nudes I got in my first BeautyCon subscription box. I just don't use these. I have so many other palettes that I just tend to grab before these. There's just no need for me to keep these. This one's getting a little bit old. I would hate to keep it until it was unusable. And this one I've hardly used at all. So I'm definitely passing these 2 on. There's some more random palettes here. This is the Pastel Goth palette by Kat Von D. I do love all these palettes. I love the formula. I don't have very many matte colors. I probably need to actually invest in a few more matte palettes. And this is my only Kat Von D eyeshadow palette, so I will be keeping this. The colors are just really unique and interesting. I don't use them very often. I love this peachy colored one. It's just so pretty. Let me swatch this down here. It's a really pretty, just interesting peachy color. I love that a lot. Again, just one of those interesting palettes that you grab for a little spot of color. And again, I like the formula, so I'd definitely like to try out more of her eyeshadows in the future. Then this is my ColourPop press shadows that I recently got. I really love these. I think that they're all beautiful. I've been grabbing for this from time to time. I just love all the different colors. Let's try this one here. It's also kind of an orangish color. A little bit more pinky though. I just love it. This one here, very nicely pigmented. They go on really well. This is another eyeshadow that I would eventually love to get some more colors in, but I do really love this, and it's been nice experimenting with these. So that's a keeper. And some of my store brand palettes here. This is the Rose Gold palette from Ulta, and I actually have used this. I really loved it when I first got it, but then I ended up getting so many other palettes with similar colors with a slightly better formula that I ended up not using this. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this along. It's got some really beautiful colors in it that I know some of my friends and family would probably really enjoy. So although this is a great one, and I do really like it, I'm just going to pass that one along. This is getting a little bit old. I believe this was, I want to say 2 or 3 Christmases ago. I got this for all the younger girls in the family. It's a neat little palette that you kind of slide open like that. The colors are really pretty, but again, these little holiday palettes, although they seem like such a good idea, I just end up not using them very frequently. That is a really pretty silver though. Boy, it's so hard to get rid of these because I'm just drawn in by beautiful packaging here. But I'm going to go ahead and put this one in a maybe. I just don't use it, so there's really no need to be keeping it. Yeah, so I'm going to take a closer look at the colors before I make my final decision, but I think I'll put that in the maybe. And then same with this one here. Again, this is one of those that I purchased around the holiday season this past year at Sephora. Beautiful packaging. I love the pyramid shape. This one's also going to have to go in the maybe. I do love the colors. I don't reach for it very often. It's just I have these same colors in other palettes. So I just don't reach for this, but I'm in love with the shape of this palette. So I'm going to have to put this one in the maybe. I may end up passing this one along since I'm just not using it, but I also might decide to keep it just because I love the shape. This next category is my Clinique category. Clinique was the main brand of makeup that I used for years and years. I didn't stray out and try any of these other ones until just recently, which is probably why I've experimented with so many new ones. I kind of didn't realize that there were so many wonderful brands, so a couple years ago I just started trying all the new brands, and it's been really, really fun. But I do love my classic Clinique products. This was one of the first palettes that I ever purchased. This one is called, I believe, Neutral Territory. You can see I've used it quite a bit, and I've made quite a dent in some of these colors. They're really nice. You can see they just go on so smoothly. Sadly, this one has got to be pushing close to 5 years, so I do need to pass this one along or probably just declutter it because it's just getting a little bit too old. However, I'm going to set this one aside because I want to hunt down a replacement. I don't know if they make the same one anymore. I think that they do have quite a few of these little 8-pan palettes, so I'll probably pick one that is closest to it just because I actually really enjoy the formula. You can just grab one of these palettes and it just works for a whole look. You don't have to grab any other palettes. Just really nice. So I'll probably replace this, but this one is definitely just too old and I need to get rid of this one. I have another 8-pan palette too. This one is in a gray color. This was the first gray palette that I got. When my hair started having some gray streaks in it and stuff, I really started to love occasionally doing a gray eye look rather than just a brown neutral eye look. This palette's only a few years old. You can see I've got some use out of it, especially like this color and this color. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. I just love it. I love the formula. I love the way that the grays look. I'll go ahead and swatch my favorite one here. So you can see how nice this gray is. I just love it. It's definitely one of my favorite grays. So I'll be keeping this palette here. Then I have a bunch of little Clinique palettes here that come in the little bonus bags. This is the one I most recently got. I do love the design of it. I think it's so cute. This one has a lot of purples in it, and initially I thought I would use these purples more, but I know I have a few purples, you know, hidden throughout some of the palettes that I've already kept. So I think I'm going to put this in the maybe. Again, packaging is kind of drawing me to keep this just because I love the unique packaging and I've been a Clinique fan for so long, so I may keep this, but I also might pass that along since it's hardly been used at all. And these two are older ones also from bonus bags over the last couple of years. This one has a really pretty green in it and a little brown and a tan, but I just don't use these little palettes, so I'm going to pass this one along. This one comes with a couple eye colors and a blush that is just way too dark for me and a little mascara. I'll have to check that. It's probably dried up, but this is also one that I'll be passing along. And then this I got last, I believe this was also last holiday season. This is the All About Shadow palette. Nice big mirror, and you can see some really pretty colors here. I've hardly used this palette, not because I don't like the formula, but because I don't like this soft case here. I'm just always afraid that it's going to get dirty in, you know, dirty with makeup and stuff like that when I'm applying it. It just seems dangerous to set this down on the counter. It looks like it's just going to get stained. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the maybe and kind of look over the colors a little bit more. I may end up keeping it just since it was a special edition one with some special edition colors. But I don't really use this, so it might be one I end up passing along. I'm not 100% sure. I may end up just keeping this on a trial basis. And next, here are some of my e.l.f. palettes. Let's go ahead and start with this big one here. I bought this quite a few years back, and I actually bought quite a few of these. I gave these out as Christmas gifts to some of the young girls in my family as well. And then also, my children used to be in drama and choir productions quite a bit, so they would need to do really involved makeup, you know, for different costumes and things like that. So these palettes did come in handy. I've actually used through quite a few of these. I've even used some of these darker colors to distress outfits before, just getting an old brush and kind of rubbing on this color to look like dirt and things like that. So these palettes have come in really, really handy. There's nothing wrong with this palette, aside from the fact that it is just getting on in age a little bit. I may send this over to my niece to play with, just so that it doesn't get completely wasted. but these palettes are so fun. If you have to do different costume looks or things like that, or your kids are in drama or anything like that, these palettes really do come in handy. But for now, I think it is time for me to declutter this palette and make room for some of my newer palettes. And then these are two little e.l.f. palettes here. This is the Nude Rose Gold palette. And these colors are really pretty. I may end up using this in place of my neutral Clinique palette that I had. That palette that I decluttered because it was getting a little bit old has been in my makeup bag. So when I need to retouch my eye makeup, I have access to some really basic neutral, good, you know, everyday colors. So I'm going to go ahead and let me swatch a couple of these colors here. Oh, that one swatches really nicely. There's some nice mattes in this palette too. Some of the colors that I would probably more frequently use. This looks like it would do the trick for a little to-go palette in my makeup bag. So I think I'll set this one aside to go in my makeup bag. And then this is another e.l.f. palette. This is the Prism Eyeshadow. I haven't been able to get rid of these just because the colors are so stunning. But I just don't reach for it very frequently. And now that I have some other really pretty, you know, metallics like my Kabuki Magic and my Moon Dust and things like that, as well as my new Make Believe in Yourself Tarte palette, I just don't think I'll need this. So I think I might pass this palette along. These are my Urban Decay palettes. This is my Nocturnal Shadow Box. I just love this. I love all the colors. It's got some of my favorites in it like Lounge and Fireball. I think it's so pretty, so I'll definitely be keeping this one. This is my Moon Dust palette. I love my Moon Dust palette. I don't use this very frequently, of course, but I just love all of these colors. It's so fun to just bring these colors out and play around with them. I just think they're so pretty. So this is definitely a keeper. This is my Urban Decay After Dark palette and is also one of my favorite palettes. You can see lots of really pretty. This also has Lounge in it and some other colors like this one. I think it's what? Supersonic? Let's go ahead and see what that one looks like. It's also really pretty and vibrant. I just love it. Very pretty colors. So this is also definitely a keeper. This is my Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. I got this on half price at Ulta during, I think, right before the holidays last year. This is the only of the Naked palettes that I actually own. And I do like it. I love that it has both the brown neutrals as well as a lot of grays and then some darker colors in here and matte colors. It is really useful. I did notice when I used this palette that I had a lot of fallout of some glitter from some of the glittery colors. There's the brown color there. It is pretty, you know, shimmery. I mean, obviously I like sometimes shimmery like the Moon Dust. In my everyday looks, I don't really prefer to use, you know, a lot of glittery colors too much. And this did have a lot of fallout. I will probably keep this just because it's my only Naked palette and I'd like to play around with it a little bit more, see if I can kind of figure out this formula. And, you know, I do like some of the gray colors, although I actually prefer this gray palette to this gray palette. This is the Clinique gray one and I really love that one. But I am going to go ahead and keep this for now. And then this is my Alice Through the Looking Glass Urban Decay palette. I just love this palette. It's so pretty. I keep this palette on my dresser rather than in my makeup area. And whenever I'm getting dressed for a special occasion and I want an extra special look, I go and get this palette out. And just, I love playing around with all these colors. They're so pretty. This is one of my favorite colors here, Lily. I'll go ahead and swatch this one. It's just so pretty. It's almost like iridescent or holographic or something. The camera does not, oh, there, it picks it up a little bit. It's got sort of a purpley, holographic hue to it. It's just really beautiful. Let's check out one of these really vibrant colors. I hardly ever use these vibrant colors, but they're so fun and very pigmented. I usually stick with the neutrals in this palette, and of course the color Lily is one of my favorites that I often will get out this palette just so I can use that color. So definitely a fun one that I'll be keeping. I just think it's so special. I love how it opens up. It's got a nice mirror, and when you open it up, the butterfly wings kind of pop open. I just think that that is so beautiful. I just love the packaging on this one. So this is just one of my special palettes that I'll definitely be keeping. And then here are all of my Too Faced palettes for the most part. Oh, let's see. I also have this one here, a Christmas one that I'll show you in a second. These are the little mini palettes from Too Faced, the chocolate chip and the white chocolate chip palette. Both of these palettes have some really cute colors in them, a nice mirror. However, they just do not go on very well. I didn't love the formula in these. They didn't swatch very well and they just don't go on very well. However, I'm going to keep them because I love these little packages. They just make me happy when I open up my eyeshadow drawer to see them. And occasionally I do pull out a little color from one of these palettes or just try out the palette. I think I'll get some use out of them, but mostly I'm just keeping them because I think the package is so cute. I do think it's okay to keep things sometimes just for the joy of the packaging or the memory. These bring me joy when I look at them. Just to have them in my makeup area looking cute, to me, that's really nice. It looks like this is one of my Tarte palettes that I accidentally put in my Too Faced pile. This is the She Dreamed, She Believed, and She Succeeded palette. You can see by the dust, I've actually tried to clean it off a little bit, but I use this one all the time. I definitely get a lot of use out of this palette, so that's a keeper. I'll put that with my Tarte pile there. And then these are all of my little small Too Faced palettes, and I just love these. I actually want to purchase more. There are a couple more of these that I still actually want. I'll definitely be keeping all these. The eyeshadow in these little tins, the formula in the tins and in this type of tin palette, always seem to be really nice. Some of these have some very unique colors that I don't use very frequently, but I do love to have them, you know, in stock to just pull out when I feel like it. These are this is the Rock and Roll palette. These are very glittery. I don't use it too often. Occasionally I do, though, and I just really love it. I love all these palettes. Again, the formula is great. The one I probably use most frequently is Boudoir Eyes. You can see I get a lot of use out of this palette. And again, I definitely would like to get the, I think it's the Natural palette and the Natural Mattes palette. I did get the Natural Eyes for my son's fiance for her birthday a couple of years ago, and she just loves that palette. That's a palette that I would love to get for myself, as well as the Natural Matte. This is the Too Faced Country palette. This has some nice light springy colors. This is the Too Faced Totally Cute palette. This was the one that you got to decorate with stickers. I just love that. These are also really cute. I get use out of this one quite a bit, and I do love that green and blue occasionally. Very fun. This is the Cat Eyes palette, and this also has some interesting colors in it too. This blue is really pretty. I love the purple and this neutral up here. And then this is the Sugar Pop palette. I thought that the packaging on that was so cute. And also some fun and vibrant colors in this one as well. So these I'm keeping both because I love the formula and the packaging. I just think they're so fun. And again, my favorite one of these 6 is Boudoir Eyes. I use that one quite a bit, and I'll definitely be adding more of these in the future. And then the only one of the Too Faced larger palettes I have is the Sweet Peach palette, which I really love. My daughter has the Chocolate Bar palette, which she really loves. Eventually I might get them, but I have so many neutrals between my Tarte palettes and these other palettes here that I just don't feel I need them right now. This, again, is the Sweet Peach palette, and I get a lot of use out of this. It's one of my favorite palettes, and I love the way it smells. I have so many palettes right now that I'm really kind of being super picky about the palettes that I add for the rest of this year and even leading into next year. And one of the palettes that I am looking forward to getting is the Clover palette by Too Faced. It has the little dog Clover on the palette, and it's a really cutesy palette, which I just love. The colors look really fun, and the proceeds are going to like animal, some sort of an animal rescue or something along those lines, and I just love that. So that's definitely a palette I'll be getting later this year. And if it's the same formula as these other tin palettes, I'll be really happy with that. Another one I'm also looking forward to is the new Tartlet palette coming out from Tarte. I do not have Tartlet or Tartlet in Bloom. Those are palettes I may also add to my collection in the future. And then I have this palette from Too Faced. I had never purchased any of the larger Too Faced holiday palettes before, so this Christmas I decided to try a lot of the different brands out, their Christmas items like the Tarte ones that I purchased there, and this was another one that I got, the Grand Hotel Cafe. It is certainly cute. I love seeing this sitting out. I keep it sitting out also on my dresser, but I just hardly ever reach for it, probably because I just associate this with Christmas, and so I just feel like I probably wouldn't want to use this until the Christmas season. Has one that is eggnog scented, and the colors are just really cute. I love them all. This one is Peppermint Mocha, and this one is Gingerbread Cookie, which is also really cute. Some very pretty colors in all of these. So I do hope that I use these more around Christmas time, around this holiday coming up. But again, this is one of those holiday palettes that I don't know that I'll be buying any this year unless they're extra special. I just don't use them that frequently. I may be taken in by one or two just because of cute packaging. Again, I just can hardly ever resist cute packaging. I did the year before because I just looked at it and knew I wouldn't use it. And this last year I caved and ended up buying it just because it's so cute, and then I just didn't use it very much. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this for another year and see if I use this during the holiday season. And if I don't, I may end up decluttering it on the next time around. I do appreciate the packaging though. I just think it's so cute. And next, these are some of the palettes that I picked up at Hot Topic recently and did a little review of. This was the Pastel Dreams palette from Blackheart. This was the one that I just thought was too lightly colored and that I'll be passing along to my niece to play with. So that one I'll put in the giveaway pile. And then this is the Unicorn Blood eyeshadow palette and the Interstellar eyeshadow palette, and these I'll be putting in my costume box to use, but I also might leave these out. I do remember this Unicorn palette here being really, really beautiful with lots of pretty colors to try out, so I may give this a try before I decide to put this in my costume palette, which I just don't get into very frequently. So I'm going to give this one a try a little bit more. And then this is a Cargo Cosmetics palette here. This was really fun to get. This was also in a BeautyCon subscription box. However, it's not one I reach for very frequently. I wasn't in love with the formula. It wasn't terrible, but compared to the other ones that I have, it's just not my favorite. It is a very pretty neutral palette, and it does have a lot of nice mattes, so I think I might put this in my maybe pile, give it one look over, but more than likely I will get rid of this. And of course at the end I'll let you know what my choice was on all of my maybes, and give you a final tally of the ones I kept versus the ones I got rid of. So that one will go in the maybe. And then I have this one here. This is by Sephora. This is the Minnie Mouse one here that was so fun to get. The little case is so cute. I don't use it that often. Occasionally I pull it out though. It does have a nice variety of really fun and vibrant colors. I tried out this yellow color the other day and it was really an interesting color. I did like that a lot. I will probably keep this for a little while longer. I do love the packaging. Again, I don't use it very frequently, so I may end up decluttering it in the future, but I just think it's so cute. Right now, I'm not ready to give up this cute package yet. And then here are the last of my palettes here. We'll talk about this one from MAC real quick. This was from MAC's holiday line last year, and I was not happy. I remember at the time when I got this, I was not happy with the way this swatched at all. Also, the packaging, even though it looks really cute on the outside, it just doesn't open. It doesn't open all the way, and it just feels a little bit flimsy when you start using it. So you just cannot open it past this angle, and I just don't like that. It makes it hard to use, and it keeps wanting to fold back down. And the colors were really pretty, but again, I just wasn't impressed with the quality. So I'm going to put this in the maybe and give it a little bit more of a look over, but I think this one I may declutter this one. And then I have a bunch of Este Lauder and Lancome here. All of these are either from holiday sets or bonus bags, and these two were from holiday sets a couple of years ago. These colors were really, really beautiful. I did love the metallics in this palette, but again, I have so many other beautiful metallics now that I think I don't need this one anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and pass this one along. This was the one that came with that one. It also has some really pretty colors in it. This one here is really beautiful. I just love it. It's very vibrant. It goes on nicely. Lancome eyeshadow is really pretty. I have had nice luck with it, but this one, I just have so many other colors. I'm not reaching for this palette, so I think I'll pass this one along. This is also a Lancome palette, probably from either one of their holiday collections or from a bonus bag. I do love this color. I'm pretty sure this was from last year's holiday bag. I think that's what that one was from. The color is really pretty, but it does go on a little bit chunky. I'm going to put this in the maybe and look this over a little closer. I do love the color selection, but I think it might be time to pass this one along. This is an Este Lauder palette. This came with one of their full-size lip glosses. One of my favorites, actually, that I ended up keeping in my lip gloss collection. I do love the design of this palette, but without the lip gloss in it, it looks a little strange. The colors are really pretty though. I love some of these maroon colors up here, but I just don't reach for these very frequently. I think I have to put this in the maybe as well. This is a little tiny one from Lancome, and this one has not been used at all. This one might also be a really good one to throw in one of my makeup bags. I'm not 100% sure though, because I do like the ones that I put in my makeup bags to come with a little brush, because I don't like storing brushes in my makeup bags since they tend to get bent. I'll have to put this one in the maybe too and kind of think about it. This one also might be a nice one to pass along just because it's so new and nice, and it's just really usable colors. This one is from Este Lauder, and I love the red packaging here. It's just so pretty. These colors are also really nice. I've used this one a little bit, not a ton. I do love that pink and the neutrals there. It's really pretty. This is going to have to go in the maybe for now. Although I love it, I don't reach for it a ton, so I think I need to look this one over a little bit more. Let's go ahead and swatch one of these colors here. This is the pink. It's really nice, but you can see it's a little chunky, but it does look like it would blend out really nicely. It is so pretty. So this one I'll have to think about. And then this is one from a couple Christmases ago. I think it is so beautiful, the packaging. It is getting a little bit old though. It's only 2 years old, so it's not too old. It does have a nice mirror. The blushes I don't use, and some of the colors are starting to get a little hard pan, which I do know you can correct that, but I'm just not sure I'm just not sure I need this palette. I do love the packaging though. It's so pretty. So I'm also going to put this one in the maybe pile and just think about it a little bit longer. So I did end up keeping the large majority of my eyeshadow palettes. I've only purchased these over the last couple of years. None of them are too old. I do need to be quite a bit more picky when purchasing any new palettes because I'm just really outgrowing the space that I have to put all these palettes in. I just don't like them to get buried and unused. I really don't like that. I do love that over the last couple of years I've got to experiment with a lot of different brands, and now that I'm starting to find my favorite ones, I definitely know a lot more now which ones I'll purchase and which ones I'll just pass on. I haven't tried out any of the Anastasia eyeshadows. That's something, the Modern Renaissance palette, something I might want to try out. Again, maybe some more of the Kat Von D and any of the really good new Tarte ones that come out. Maybe avoiding some of those holiday palettes and things like that. But yeah, it's been fun experimenting with all these brands, and it was nice going through these all, seeing which ones I have so that I can make better choices when I'm purchasing palettes in the future. I'm going to go ahead and decide on my maybes and then tally up the ones that I've kept and the ones I've gotten rid of and show you my final results. Okay, so of my maybes, I decided to keep 4 of the palettes. This Lancome palette, this Sephora palette for now, although I still am definitely going to keep thinking about that one. And then this Este Lauder palette, I just love the colors and it's such a pretty case. And then this special edition Clinique palette. I'm going to get rid of the little Lancome palette, the little Clinique palette, the MAC Holiday Palette, the Sephora Holiday Palette, this Este Lauder Holiday Palette, this Este Lauder Holiday Palette, and this Cargo Palette. So those are all going in my declutter pile. Okay, so I have separated out the declutter pile and the keep pile, and I definitely kept quite a bit of them, but I did get rid of 20 different palettes over here. A lot of the palettes in the declutter pile are a little bit smaller, so the pile does look pretty small, and this one has some of the bigger Christmas palettes that I am keeping, so it looks a little bit bigger, and it definitely is bigger. I did get rid of 20 palettes, and I kept 47 palettes, so I got rid of about 30%, which I think is pretty good. I think it's like 29% that I actually got rid of, so that's not too bad. I knew I wasn't going to be getting rid of a crazy amount of palettes. I love my palettes. They're definitely so fun to work with. So many different choices. I would definitely love to continue using these all for another year or 6 months or so before I declutter them again, see if I can make any further cuts. And definitely now that I've seen everything, it'll really help me out when purchasing new palettes in the future. Definitely it'll need to be something different or special or one of my favorite brands before I purchase any more. So that was my eyeshadow declutter. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at all of my eyeshadow collection as well as seeing which ones I chose to keep and which ones I chose to declutter. I have 2 more makeup declutters to go. I'm going to do one with my face makeups, my blushes and highlight and contour and foundation, and then another one with all of my eye products, my brow products, mascara products, single eyeshadows, and eyeliners and things like that. So 2 more videos coming up in my makeup declutter series for this year. Again, I will link below my previous declutters, my nail polish declutter, and my lip products declutter. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe for more videos from April's Home. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye!